All right, this is Boxing with the Truth, and I am the Truth. It's August 8th, 2015, and today we are here with heavyweight Chazz, the Gentleman Witherspoon. How you doing today, Chazz?
I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. How y'all doing?
Well, I appreciate you taking time to do the interview. I understand that you just had a birth of another child.
Yep. I just had the birth of my sixth son. So, yeah.
How recent was that? Just in the last couple days?
Yeah, that was just he was born the other night. So that's how that went. But I was up all night. The baby was born, and he's here now. So still trying to concentrate on the fight, even though I got a lot going on. 6
sons, boy. You might have a boxer or two in that bunch.
Something like that. I'm trying to keep them all away from boxing if I can. I'm pushing with all the other sports. I got a son that's really good in football, one that's good in baseball, other two play soccer, and the baby's just running around doing everything right now. So, and I call the baby my 2-year-old. I used to call the baby, but I guess I got another whole baby now. So, got to call the new baby. I guess I don't know.
Okay, so now your pro record is 33 wins, 25 knockouts, and 3 losses, correct?
Yeah, that's my record.
Okay. Now, how did you get involved in boxing to begin with? Because I know you kind of started a little late.
Yeah, my career started late. I turned pro. Well, not even when I turned pro. I first walked into the gym, at the age of 20. It was right before I turned 21, actually. I walked into the gym, and I just wanted to try it because I was in college at the time. And I didn't want to waste my athletic ability. I was in school on an academic scholarship, and I had a couple basketball scholarships and things like that, but I chose to take the academic scholarship. And I said, I don't want to waste my athletic ability. Let me try boxing. Because of Tim, naturally. Tim is my cousin. So I said, let me try boxing. And I walked in the gym, and I picked it up relatively fast. And I ended up making the Olympic team as the alternate a year and 10 months into my career. And that's like the pinnacle of amateur boxing is the Olympics. And then 2 months later, I won the National Golden Glove title in 2004. But I was the first person in history to win the National Golden Glove title by all stoppages. So that's when the managers and the promoters, came up talking to me about turning pro with money for signing bonuses and stuff like that. So I just went on and turned pro,
Okay, and just so the fans know, when you referred to Tim being your cousin, you're talking about heavyweight Tim Witherspoon, right?
Yep, 2-time heavyweight champ, terrible Tim Witherspoon. Yeah, that's my cousin. And naturally, I went and talked with him before I even went into the gym. And the first thing he told me, which I didn't understand at the time, but I more than understand now, and he was just like, look, Chazz, I'm not going to try to, deter you from going into the ring, but he just said, boxing isn't for everybody. This is a tough sport, and it's just not for everybody. And I didn't know what he meant by that. Now I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, well, I can do anything I put my mind to, is what I'm thinking, but I know what he means. It takes a certain type of man that's going to get up every day and you get punched in the face for a living. It's not fun. In the beginning, it's not fun at all. You got to take them lumps and them bruises, and you got to work on your defense, and you got to get good enough where you're not getting hit with every punch somebody throws. And you still got to learn under fire. You got to learn under the auspice of potentially being knocked out. It's just a tough grind.
Okay, so now you brought up the fact that you were a 2004 Olympic alternate for the team, but you actually didn't have a big amateur career though either. You only had 26 wins and 6 losses, right?
Yep, 26 wins, 6 losses, and 3 of my losses were to the same guy, a guy named Matthew Godfrey. But the irony in that is, I lost him in the U.S. Championships, the championship of the U.S. Championships, so he made me take second. Then I lost him in the finals at the PAL, but the time that I beat him was the time that counted the most. I actually lost him at the Olympic trials, but then on the last night of the Olympic trials, we were fighting to see who went to the box off. I beat him. So I beat him the 4th time I fought him when it counted the most. For me to become an alternate, I beat him. So, I didn't have a long amateur career. I kind of shot through the amateurs pretty fast, but, I just kept trying to get better, with each fight. And I was able to outwork people really early in my career. You know, it was all about being in the best shape that I could be in. You know, but now later on as a pro, I'm seeing being in good enough shape just isn't enough. You still got to, it's the science side of boxing that you have to have down, you know, to crack the top 10, to be able to make a legitimate play for the heavyweight title. You got to have some science and some skill behind just being in shape, you know.
So now I want to go back to what you're talking about, the scholarships. You actually had 3 Division I basketball scholarships offered to you and 2 track scholarships. So why did you not focus on possibly the NBA?
Well, I'm a realist, you know, and unless I was able to go there and make a big splash, making it to the NBA wasn't necessarily in my future. I knew I was good enough to probably play overseas somewhere. And, you know, now who knows? I might have could have made the NBA. Who knows? But I said, let me do something that's a guarantee. And since I had the grades, I could go to school on academic money. I could still do what I want. And I'm actually happy when I look back on it. Had I taken the basketball scholarship or the track scholarships, you know, I would have had to keep doing that. You know, I couldn't switch over and do boxing. I would have never been able to even step into a ring. You know. And those other things are, which track is individual, but basketball, things like that, that's a team sport. So unless you have the green light to shoot when your coach, you know, he gives you the green light to shoot, or, you know, you're the man on the team, other than that, you got to rely on a coach and a team. And I wanted something where as though my individual effort would show forth on its own.
Okay.
In boxing, you know, you're on your own. Nobody's in there helping you fight in the ring. You know, you're by yourself, and only you control the outcome. You know, you control you in there, so.
And some people might not know that you actually have a degree in pharmaceutical marketing, right?
Yep. I got a farm marketing degree. I actually went back to school after the Olympics. You know, I was in my last semester at St. Joe's University when I made the team. So I ended up having to take a leave of absence because once you make the team, you got to go out to the Olympic Training Center for a month, and then you come home and then you go back out there for another month. And, you know, that was going to disrupt school. So I took what was called a leave of absence. And St. Joe's was nice enough to oblige me, to let me, you know, pause my schooling. And then I just basically, after I came back from the Olympics and stuff, and I turned pro, I had a couple fights, I still went back to school and got my degree. You know, and a lot of people was asking me, you know, why am I there, and what are you doing? You're the pro fighter, why are you here? And I'm like, I'm here just in case boxing doesn't work out. You know, I didn't go to school for 4 years just in my last semester walk away from my degrees. That's not the move, you know, so I went back and I got that, and I'm happy that I have that because it just gives me more options, you know.
Okay, now I want to talk about your career just a little bit. After your loss to Seth Mitchell, you took about a 2-year layoff, and since then you've came back and you've gotten 3 fights in, and you have an upcoming fight that we're going to talk about in a minute. That'll be 4 fights, so it'll be 3 fights this year and 1 fight last year. I mean, so you're kind of back on the road to getting back up to the top and stuff. But why did you take the 2-year layoff?
Well, the 2-year layoff, it wasn't by choice. It actually ended up being 27 months total. But what ended up happening was I got on a couple of local, smaller promoters' cards, you know, and I sell a lot of tickets. You know, my father sells anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 tickets himself, you know, so I got on some of these local cards down Atlantic City, other places with these smaller promoters, and we would sell a bunch of tickets, and then the whole card would fall apart, and it wouldn't happen. So that happened to me 3 times, whereas though I thought I was going to fight in those 27 months, but the card would just fall apart at the last minute. You know, it wouldn't happen for whatever reason. The promoter ran out of money. The one time, actually, the show was going to happen, but Hurricane Sandy hit in Atlantic City. You know, they shut down Atlantic City Highway, and I was supposed to drive down for the weigh-in. You know, I was driving down Thursday night. The weigh-in was on Friday, and they shut down the highway, and Hurricane Sandy happened. So that was one of the fights I was supposed to fight on, and that happened. So it was just different things that kept me out of the ring those 27 months. I was still training the whole time, and one time I injured my back lifting weights, and that had me out of the gym for like 3 months. But I wasn't trying to take a long layoff like that. You know, it just ended up happening.
Okay,
And,
so it wasn't, you weren't like trying to take, after the loss with Seth Mitchell, you weren't like trying to take a layoff or anything. You were still trying to make fights happen. They just weren't happening for whatever, you know, various reasons.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't It wasn't like I wasn't looking for fights. You know, I was actively looking for fights, but for whatever reasons, the fights would fall apart. You know, so then that's what got me to thinking, and that's what made me start my own promotional company. I said, well, let me do some research and find out what I got to do to become a promoter, because I keep allowing these other people to promote me, and I could just promote myself, do my own card, do my own show, and now I'm fighting. And because I dropped out of the rankings just due to inactivity alone, you know, that two years off really hurt me bad. I just dropped all the way in the rankings. So most people thought I was retired, and that wasn't the case, you know. So then I got a team together, you know, and everything I do is with family. So I got my family, and we started our own promotional company. It's called Silver Spoon Promotions. And, you know, promoting is not easy. I'm not going to recommend that to anybody to try to promote and fight on the card at the same time. It's definitely a headache, you know, but I'm somebody that's I'm pretty strong mentally, you know, I'm pretty tough. So I think I can do it, you know, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. If you're somebody that gets stressed out really easy, then it's definitely not for fighters to try to fight and promote at the same time, you know.
So now,
it'd be much easier. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that your promotion company's actually putting a fight on though soon, right?
August 15th is our next fight. It's down in Atlantic City. It's at a new venue called the Playground, and it's a really nice upscale place. It's actually, it used to be a mall, and it was connected to Caesar's casino. And it's a mall that goes all the way out into the ocean. It's called the Caesar's Pier. It was a mall, but a company bought it, and they turned it into a place called the Playground now. And they have a bunch of different shops and bars and clubs in there, and they actually have an indoor, you know, place that's like Bourbon Street and T Street and Beale Street, you know. So it's really nice, and the venue that we're fighting at has 3 different levels, and it's just going to be a wonderful night, an entertaining night.
Now you're actually on that card as well, right?
I'm the main event on the card. I'm the main event, but we have a pretty packed card. I mean, right now we have 13 fights on the card.
Wow.
3 of Rock Nation's fighters are fighting on our card, and we have we're doing this in conjunction with the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame. They're actually going to be launching their I guess their big splash onto the scene at our weigh-in. You know, they're letting everybody know that they're starting the Boxing Hall of Fame in Atlantic City. And, you know, I think Ray Mercer's coming in to commentate the fight, and I think they're inviting different people to the fight. So I think, like, Larry Holmes, they're trying to get George Foreman, might be showing up because Roy Foreman is actually part of the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame. Roy Foreman is George Foreman's brother. You know, so it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be a really good night.
So let's talk about your fight real quick. You're fighting a guy named Nick Guivas?
Yeah, Guivas or something like that. Yeah.
And he's actually 11-2-2 with 9 knockouts. Now he stopped his last 4 opponents, 3 of them in the first round. So does that power bother you at all?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to take him lightly. You know, I know he has a record 11-2-2. But I don't take anybody lightly, and the fact that he has 9 knockouts out of 11 fights means he can punch. You know, so I'm not going to take him for granted. You know, and a 6-round stoppage also tells me carries power to the later rounds. You know, so with that being said, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to work smart. You know, I'm going to work smart, and I'm going to use all the advantages that I have to me, utilize those, and just do what I need to do to win. I mean, I know he's coming to try to do what he needs to do to win. But I think I got enough firepower where he can't just run in throwing anything he wants to throw and think he's going to walk through whatever I'm throwing back at him, you know. So, you know, it'll be a chess match. You know, I don't know much about him. I only seen one fight on YouTube of the guy, and he stopped the guy in the first round, so I didn't get much to work with, you know, from what I saw on YouTube.
Well, I sure hope he's not planning on stopping Chazz Witherspoon in the first round. That doesn't happen very often.
Well, you can plan on that. You know, everybody, like George Foreman said, everybody has to plan until they get hit. So it sounds good, you know.
So what do you think you'll have to do to just win the fight convincingly? I mean, do you want to go the 10 rounds and get some work in, or would you rather just go in there and just knock him out?
I'm not gonna force anything. I know that much, and I don't mind going to 10. I actually get stronger as the rounds go on, so it doesn't matter to me. I tried to get some work into my last fight, you know, 'cause the guy I saw that I was fighting last time, he was a late replacement, but after I caught him with a couple shots, I see he didn't want to really keep fighting. He started going into survival mode, so I said, okay, I can get a couple rounds out of this guy. And I took him to the 5th and stopped him. You know, but I probably could have stopped him in the 3rd if I really wanted to put my foot on the gas. You know, but with this guy, I'm just going to see. I'm going to take what he's giving me, and I'm just going to break him down. You know, round by round. You know, that's my plan. You know, if he wants to run out like gangbusters, then I'm going to run him into something. You know, so either way, I'm going to be okay.
Do you have any like habits or rituals or anything that you do before a fight?
Not really. What I've learned to do for me, because the type of person that I am, I don't want to make the fight heavier than what it is. I don't want to make it more of a bigger deal than what it is. When I go to spar, when I go to a sparring session, I don't do all this stuff just for a sparring session. I just go throughout the day regular. I make sure I get rest the night before, and I go spar, you know. But a lot of times, fighters and people in general, when it's a fight, they turn it into this whole other big thing. You know, we spar every day. We spar hundreds of rounds for that one night that we box. So why am I going to make it like it's anything bigger than a sparring session without a headgear? 'Cause that's all it really is. So I try to just stay calm. Don't think about the fight too much throughout the day because I don't want to get my adrenaline pumping like I'm really in a fight. And try to get as much rest and stay as hydrated as I can the day of the fight.
Okay, do you have any activities that you enjoy doing outside of boxing that have nothing to do with the sport?
Yeah, I actually enjoy, when I have the time, I like playing the drums. Played the drums growing up. I like going to my kids' sporting events. Like I said, I got a son that's really good at football. He's 8 years old. You know, last year he had like 26 touchdowns. And I like going to my kids' outings, sports outings, and things of that nature. And I like reading. I never really had the time to with all the kids, though. So I enjoy reading, but I got to make more time to do that, you know. And I actually really love quantum physics, which is a little weird, but it's a science that I enjoy now. So.
Okay, so if you weren't a professional boxer, what do you think you'd be doing for a career?
To tell you the truth, if I had it all to do over again and it was all I could make it my way, I would have just stuck with being a wide receiver because them guys get paid millions and millions of dollars and they don't get hit as often as the other football players. But I was a really good wide receiver, you know. And yeah, I actually didn't really enjoy the hitting part of football, but I actually traded in football at the Pee Wee level. I traded in football and picked up a basketball and all that stuff, but you actually get punched in the face for a living with boxing, and I don't even enjoy getting punched, you know, so much rather have a helmet on and running into people with a helmet on is way better than, you know, getting punched, getting a glove set in your eyeball, you know, that's no good. So I would have stuck with football as far as to be a professional athlete is concerned. Outside of that, I probably would have been a psychologist or something like that.
Okay, so now I want to talk about another fight that's coming up between two heavyweights. I know you've actually sparred with one of them, so I want your honest opinion on how you think this fight's going to go. Vitaly Klitschko versus Tyson Fury. Everybody's kind of been waiting for this fight to happen. Some people are saying Tyson Fury might actually be the one to knock Vitaly Klitschko, you know, off the throne. I know you've been in the ring with Vitaly Klitschko. Tell me a little bit about that, and what do you think about this fight coming up?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is this. I mean, I've been to camp with Vladimir 3 different times. The guy is way better than he looks when you watch him fight. And each camp I went to, he just got better and better and better. And he trains his behind off, you know, so you're not going to outwork him as far as training is concerned. And he's the consummate professional, you know. So I really find it hard, unless he's tried to come outside of himself and take chances and do things that Vladimir really doesn't do, then I can't see him losing the fight. I don't see anybody beating him. He's not going to lose as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, I actually said Vitaly, didn't I? And it's Vladimir.
Yeah, it's Vladimir. But, yeah, I mean, he's the guy that's going to stick to his game plan. And, I mean, I guess Tyson Fury is one of the first, or I guess it's the second guy he's fought that's either been his height or taller than him. You know, so he has that going for him, I think. But Vladimir's right hand is serious, man. He used to sit people down in camp with 18 ounce of gloves on. So, like, don't get it twisted. You know, Tyson Fury's been dropped by lesser punchers. I believe Steve Cunningham, and that Steve is my man. Steve is not known for being a puncher, and Steve put him down, I believe. You know, so, you know, if Vladimir hits him, man, it's going to be a night for him, you know. But I can tell you this: I'm sparring actually right now. I've been sparring with Eddie Chambers for getting ready for my fight, and Eddie was over in camp with Tyson Fury, and Eddie had nothing but good things to say about Tyson Fury. So from what Eddie's telling me, Eddie is saying that Tyson is way better than most people know as well. So that actually got me to thinking that this might be a better fight than I thought it was going to be. When I first heard about the fight, I'm like, man, Vladimir's going to smoke him, you know. But after talking with Eddie gave me another insight into Tyson Fury, and he just said he's way better than most people know. You know, so that got me to think, because Eddie Chambers really has a high boxing IQ. He's really knowledgeable about boxing, and Eddie was saying, like, you know, some of the stuff this guy does and what he's working on, and I was right there in camp when he said this dude is the truth. You know, he said he's gonna give Vladimir some problems. So I'm like, wow, okay, you know. So that got me. I'm waiting to see the fight now, because I don't know now, you know.
The reason I asked you that too, and I was going to bring up Eddie Chambers, I just recently did an interview with him, and he did talk about that, how a lot of people are underestimating Tyson, that he sparred with him, and then he honestly believes that Tyson Fury can win. So I'm glad that you brought that up about Eddie.
Yeah, no, Eddie's been right there in camp with him. He was over there for a couple of months with him, you know, and Eddie was just like, look, man, the guy trains his butt off. He said whoever his trainer is, whoever his uncle is, he said his guy pushes him in the gym, and, you know, he trains his butt off. He said he's always going to talk trash, you know, that's just Tyson, that's what he does. But he said he really believes that stuff that he's talking. He's not just talking trash, you know, just for the cameras. You know, he really believes it. So you never can look past a confident person that believes in themselves, you know. And he still is a big 6'9" guy that apparently, from what Eddie's told me, knows how to box and knows how to come forward and knows how to do a lot of things that I didn't know he knows how to do, you know. So I know how good Vladimir is because I've been in camp with him, but see, Eddie's actually been in camp with both of them, Vladimir and Tyson. So if I'm going to respect anybody's read on it, I'm going to respect somebody who's been in there. And he actually fought both of them. He fought Vladimir and he fought, you know, Tyson Fury. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm excited to see the fight now myself after talking with Eddie.
Okay, yeah, it should be an interesting fight. Like I said, they're hyping it up pretty well that Tyson actually has an honest shot. And I mean, come on, Vladimir has been around for a long time. Eventually, you know, he either has to step down or somebody will beat him. But so you never know. I mean, they do the same thing with Mayweather too. So you just never know if it's ever going to happen or not.
Yeah.
But listen, I want to promote your fight one more time before I end the interview. August 15th, Atlantic City, New Jersey, at the Playground, you said, right? Yep. Chazz Witherspoon versus Nick Guivas or Guivas. He's 11-2-2. Apparently he has power. He has 9 knockouts, and he's knocked out his last 3 guys. So hopefully it'll be a good fight. And I'm looking forward to watching you climb the ladder again. So everybody that's out in Atlantic City, please attend the fight. And Chazz Witherspoon is climbing the ladder again, so keep track of what he's doing, and hopefully we'll see you on TV soon, maybe on one of these Premier Boxing Champions.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, they called me for one of them before, you know, so maybe they'll call me again. You know, they called me to fight Dominic Brazil, I believe it was. But it just was like a last-minute thing. But, you know, all that, the proper time and all that, I mean, I'm looking for fights, and I'm gonna get myself back in the mix. And try to get towards Deontay Wilder. I mean, that's the belt that everybody wants, the green belt. The WBC has one of the most coveted belts, you know, in the history of boxing. So, I mean, that's the shot I would like to get, you know, if I had it my way.
Well, listen, would you like to say anything to your fans or your supporters before we end the interview?
Yeah, I'd just like to say anybody that's Team Witherspoon, you know, stay with us, and we're definitely looking to do big things in 2016. And, yeah, we're not going anywhere, and we've just been trying to, as they say, polish the diamond, you know, and you know, correct the different things we need to correct so we can make a valiant play for this title.
All right, and with that, the truth has spoken.